It has been a massive last 8 or so months out here on this front lawn. It's looked really good at times, it's really struggled at times. So today I'm going to go through and talk about the 3 biggest things that I have learned or had reinforced working on this lawn this season. Let's get into it. Yes, g'day and welcome to the second last video I'm going to record, and the last video I'm going to post during autumn for this year, which means it's almost winter, and that means it's basically 3 months until spring. How good's that? Now, basically the goal of today's video is to talk to you about 3 main things that I've learned out here on this lawn, because the season has been pretty up and down, starting with a renovation that I did right at the end of September. We had a beautiful September. It was really, really nice. It then dipped in October and was quite cool. And after doing that really heavy renovation, the recovery was extremely slow, which led me to doing something that I should have done a long time before that. When we first moved in here, it was really thin and wispy, which just clearly means that the growing conditions were quite poor. And now, if I had my time again, what I would have done and what I would recommend is straight away, in what are clearly terrible growing conditions, get yourself a soil test straight away. Now, a basic soil pH test is a really good starting point for at least something, but what I got done was a full soil analysis, and what I found out in that was that my pH was high and that I was lacking in some sulfur. So luckily the products that I use worked for both of those purposes, and also I was really low in potassium. So essentially the program that I was following for my lawn, the products I was using, I was sort of going to be correcting those deficiencies and getting to the right point eventually anyway. But I put in a plan of attack where I was then able to go with a rate of liquid fertilizers every 4 weeks instead of 6. I was able to apply granular fertilizers a bit more often, and just really able to nail down. I did buy a specific potassium product to really identify and get onto those deficiencies quickly to achieve a nicer, greener result sooner. And I know people will want to know, so where I got my soil test done, if you didn't see those videos in spring, it was through Emma at Lawn Care Australia. You go onto her website, I'll probably link it in the description or something as well. Go on there, you take some samples, all the instructions are there for you, but you take some samples of your soil, put it in a bag, send it off. I paid $100. I don't know whether people will feel like that's a lot of money or not a lot of money. To me, you could easily waste $100 on using the wrong products on your lawn and not getting results, and just fall away from the hobby and think, stuff this. So yeah, to me that $100 is a pretty good investment, and it's a great service that Emma is doing there with those soil tests. And for me, especially here on this nature strip that always has been the worst section, it's gone pretty well now. But what I need to do to get started today is grab the rotary mower and tidy up all the leaves and bits of crap that are dropping all around this tree, and tidy up the edges as well. So let's get that done and then talk about the next biggest thing that I learned. All right, nice to have things tidied up there. And so the second thing that I really had reinforced this season was about not being complacent. So something that is really easy to do is think, yeah, my lawn's looking pretty good, it's fine. And you might miss or think, oh, I won't worry about watering it too much, or oh, it's okay if that fertilizer goes out a little bit late, or whatever it may be. But something that you need to do, especially if you get a soil test, you've got a plan in place, or even if you just have a regular old lawn program, is to make sure that you do stay on top of it, because especially when the heat of summer hits, or even when it starts to really get cold in winter, so around about this time, don't be complacent. Keep following your program, keep getting out your fertilizers on time, your wetting agents, all those kinds of things, because it did happen to me a few times out here on this lawn this season where it just snuck up on me, and especially before my mini renovation, it was looking horrible out here. I'd lapsed on a few of my applications, a few other things going on in life, and that is going to happen as well. But just to stay accountable, make sure you get your plan out and executed and followed to stay on top of how things are going. On that note, I am pretty bloody happy with how things are looking out here right now. Some really beautiful, nice green growth. And so that now is looking much, much tidier for the passers-by. So time for some stripes now, and I do actually also have a dose of liquid fertilizer coming up next week. So I'm still applying every 4 weeks throughout winter my Lawn Tips mix with some potassium in there as well. I might start adding a little bit of liquid iron, maybe this application, maybe the following one. But yeah, really the following application is going to be 1 month into winter, which is amazing. So yeah, it's gonna go really, really quickly. But one thing I would say on that note of complacency and staying consistent, I've got actually a notepad. I'm a real pen and paper kind of guy, but I've got a notepad in there. I've written down all the way up until spring what I'm doing and in what week. So I can just refer to that every week or two and make sure I'm got in my mind, okay, yep, next week I'm doing this, so I can start to have an idea when I'm looking at the forecast and all that sort of stuff of when I'm going to do certain things. Whether for you might have a whiteboard in your shed, you might set reminders in your phone, whatever it may be, to help you to stay on your routine and not miss applications and stuff like that. Definitely recommend. And I don't know, I probably should be using an app or something like that, but I just if you're a pen and paper guy, I think you're just a pen and paper guy, to be honest. Now, I got through the edging and stuff okay so far. I am actually waiting for x-ray results on this wrist. I don't think it's broken. I think it's just a jar. Either way, it's going to be interesting potentially to start this mower. And I don't think I'll be using the Mow Master out the back this week, which is all right because it doesn't need a mow, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Shout out Turf and Tools podcast. Good listen. Easy. All right, that was 7 days between mows. Got a few clippings off still, so you know, we haven't completely died off to nothing. A couple of videos ago, I said I was at sort of 3 mows a fortnight is what I needed on this front lawn at the moment. Definitely once a week now, and probably could easily go out to fortnightly, to be honest. More so about just trying to hold some of these patterns really at the moment. And my final major learning for the season out here on the front lawn is just bloody do that renovation. Just do it. I've talked about it before on this channel, how it's not necessarily the most amazing advice that if your lawn is struggling to just do a lawn renovation, and it could be struggling because of fungal disease or heat stress or any other sort of reasons. Now, as long as if it's fungal disease, you've treated the fungus and you think that the disease is actually gone, you know, with the heat stress, don't be doing a renovation in the middle of that heat wave or a heat wave. But you know, as long as you've ticked some of those boxes, if you get to a point in the season, in the growing season, where you've been away, or you haven't been consistent in following your program and stuff like that, things get away from you, it gets too overgrown, or it gets singed from the heat, or whatever it may be, it's fine, honestly, in my opinion, to go out when it's you know, the right season for it. So for me in Victoria, anytime sort of October through to March, just go out, set your mower low, scalp it down, maybe give it a scarify to really turn it over, remove that excess dry, crappy, sad growth, promote and open up space for new, fresh, healthy growth, because especially if you've missed some applications, you're going to come into all that work, you're going to apply a nice granular fertilizer, you're going to apply some soil wetter, you're going to do some liquid fertilizers after 2 or 3 weeks, you're going to be watering it a couple of times a day in that recovery phase and promoting that really healthy growth, and it's going to shoot through. And you know, like how this lawn was extremely sad back in sort of late Feb, early March, it's now a different sort of lawn. And also Ryan Knorr was talking about similar sort of things with his ryegrass over in the US. And so I was like, you know what? If Ryan Knorr's even doing it with ryegrass in the middle of summer over in the US, I reckon, you know, it's probably good advice for Kikuyu or other warm season lawns here in Australia too. So thanks for Ryan for confirming that little bit of advice for me. But yeah, soil test if you've got a dodgy lawn. Don't get complacent if your lawn is looking good, especially if it's coming from a low starting point. And look, if it does get away from you at any point in the season, your lawn is really struggling, if you've got the right conditions, scalp it down, fix up some issues, apply the right products, and reset it from there in the growing season. Now, if your lawn is struggling right now, you're gonna have to wait until springtime to make some of those improvements. And, you know, hopefully your lawn is looking really good coming into winter as well, but if it's not, then in a year's time, keep following along, subscribe, keep following along what I'm doing. Have a look at my lawn programs on my website, my lawn renovation guides on my website as well, and follow along. This time next year, things will be looking a lot different, I reckon. So thank you for watching that video. Hope you got something out of it, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, geez, I feel like that's gonna be a rough one to edit. Let's go through those today. Just drag it on. Just say it. It has been a massive last